The truth will hit us so hard that if we are not prepared to bear its effect, then we will be drowning in an ocean of fear, anxiety, depression, and all the other negative emotions. Now, the truth is uncomfortable, and the mind will find many ways to secure our current beliefs and identities that is away from the truth, because otherwise we will have to accept and adapt to the truth, which is so painful and out of the comfort zone. And this is the nature of the mind, as said by many great people in history throughout the world and cultures, that the mind can either be the friend or the enemy. And in this case, if it will be an enemy if it is convincing you to be in the current identities, not facing the truth, which is almost knocking at the doorstep. Okay, that was vague. What do I mean by the truth? Now, this video is deep, and I want to share this because we are living in such a time right now. The truth that we have to accept a new identity, a new reality, a new worldview, which is different from the ones that we had previously. The truth that we have been living a life that is so distorted and twisted from the reality, through the history books, through the government structures, and many other ways in which our identities are directed to certain things, through our attention, which is directed to certain things that are away from the reality, the truth. That we are in a game, like Shakespeare said, we are in a drama in this thing called life. And also, Nietzsche said that whatever interpretations prevail at a given time is a matter of power and not truth. And what we need is the truth, which is uncomfortable, and we have the choice to either stay in the comfort zone of fear, anxiety, which might give us temporarily illusory comfort, or to completely get out of it and choose to accept the truth, which is painful, but which is what we all ultimately want. The choice is knocking at our doors right now. Now, what do I mean by this? This truth is, it can be in the form of the higher beings in the planet, who, like the government officials, the billionaires and the millionaires, who have a huge impact and whose decisions have a huge impact to the mass of people in general. And if you are given the truth that you have been manipulated in many ways through your attention, through the education, through the psyche, just like how the British got into the country of India and then got into the psyche of the people and then changed the education, because they knew that changing the education of this country will eventually change the entire course of the generations that is to come in the future. Similarly, many subtle ways in which we have been living our lives, which is away from the truth, can be seen to be crumbling down if you look deep into the bigger picture that is happening in the world right now. And we are fortunate to be living this time so that we can witness this change and get into this reality where it is our journey as a being, and from an overall point of view, that can accept the truth and start living the truth. Now, this ocean, which is fearful and anxiety and all, is an ocean of fear and all of that. Like I said, now there's a fish inside the ocean, and in order to change the identity of the fish, it has to change the higher identity, because when you take the fish out of the water, it cannot take in the new identity so much. The only way that it can take the new identity is to give up the old identity and get into a new identity that can adapt itself to the new identity. Otherwise, it will have to stay in the ocean. Similarly, the beginning is or rather, the end is the new beginning. The end of the old identities and realities gives birth to the beginning of new identities and realities, higher ones. Now, considering the history of creation, the first species came out in the ocean. So this example is so relevant that in the ocean, these aquatic species like fish and everything came out, and millions of species are there, among which human beings are said to be the highest, most evolved species in terms of the consciousness, in terms of the identity, in terms of the truth, in terms of the reality, the openness to the truth. So having this said, the truth had to be accepted by painfully giving the old identity, uncomfortably giving the old identity. Now, similarly, in an individual's lifetime, the end of childhood was the beginning of teenage. The end of teenage was the beginning of adulthood. The end of adulthood is the beginning of old age. And the end of the entire life is a chance for us to begin a new identity in order to experience the same world in a new identity. By that I mean the new name, new culture, new race, new color of the skin, and all of that in such a way that you can erase the memory, just the memory that the brain carries, but not the consciousness in a subtle way, wherein it is a continual journey wherein you're given a new identity in order to experience the same. But ideally, it is the same. If I'm given, if I'm given a sugar cane, I'll be chewing the same thing, and maybe I'll try to do it from the other side and from this side, but I'm chewing the same chew, hoping to expect more sweet out of it. Happy Pongal, by the way, in advance. Now, this is the truth. The truth that we have been going on in cycles and cycles, and we are right now at a point of time wherein we want to say that I've had enough. I've had enough. I want to get to an even higher truth. And I want to be out of the matrix. Now, how do we get out of the matrix? What do we do about this? Now, chances are that if you're watching this video, you are already in the process of getting out or are out of the matrix, so to speak, that the illusion, and have gotten to the higher truth. Make a similar video or share this one with another person who can comprehend this and or put it in your own language or whatever. Okay, so that is one thing that we can do. Another thing is to educate ourselves and ask questions about almost everything that we've been told to do, that we've been told to, the information that we get, because that is the only way that we can really get to the truth in a harmonious way. Okay, people coming together with a lot of love, with a lot of compassion, with a lot of understanding of this higher truth, that we understand that we have this responsibility to share this with the people. There's no more fear-based agendas. There's no more getting inside barcodes as a new identity without which you're not allowed inside supermarkets, which is actually happening. I think it is in Germany and in some other country like in Italy, if I'm not wrong, you are not allowed to the basic necessities like getting into a shop or something is not allowed unless you come under a certain category, of, of eligibility that the government imposes upon. It is already happening in the world right now. And with technological advancements, so to speak, like the metaverse and all the other things, which actually takes us farther and farther away from the truth, from the reality that we are all united rather than the polarities that exist in the world right now. We are all intrinsically united. We are all intrinsically united in a common way, despite of the variety differences, which is supposed to be embraced and looked upon and and enjoyed in a positive way with compassion and love, rather than see it as a difference and bias and polarity and creating disparity, because that is the only way that the untruth, the greed of the few can rule the world through our attention, through our, because where attention goes, energy flows. Where attention goes, energy flows. And the first thing to get into is the psyche and the attention of the masses of people, so that when they divide people through the differences rather than just embrace them, that is when they can actually rule. Now, if we thought that slavery was over because of Abraham Lincoln and all of that, it is just that we are still in slavery in a very grand way, but we do not know it. Those black people who were kept as slaves at least knew that they are slaves. Now, this sort of mental slavery is even more dangerous because we do not know it. We are so succumbed to this identity, this reality, that the metaverse and other things is the normal life. And if it will become that without considering the long-term consequences, which is what is wanted by people who want a subtle level of dictatorship towards the world. And it is all the more important for all of us to really look deep inside ourselves and then just get the freedom, just question things, wake up, because it is a time right now that the truth is knocking at the doors. When I say the doors of our hearts, the doors of our psyche, the doors of our being, that if we inquire submissively into this truth, we are given and harmoniously flow into this new reality that is actually birthing in the world right now. Okay, it's exciting times. And with this said, I want to end this video, and I'll see you in the next one with more such content. And please share this video and like it. Let me know in the comment box how your current life has been in the recent times. Let's stay together. Let's stay united with the unity of all of us.